All right, welcome everybody to Ossont Battery. I'm Aaron Ossont, your host. And on this episode, I have a band I've been a fan of for probably about 5-6 years now. They're out of San Diego, California. So without further ado, welcome Nebula Drag.
Hey.
Hey, what's up, man?
Hello.
All right, nice to see you guys tonight. Thank you for coming on. Really appreciate it. So first of all, how did you guys start the band? How did Nebula Drag come to formation?
What's up?
I started it, I guess probably, I've been playing with a few people around town. And I started the band probably around 2015, 2016, somewhere around there. Had another drummer, different bass player. Didn't work out, could barely get it off the ground. And then I met Steven on fucking Craigslist. So I Craigslist for the drummer, even though I knew a few. And I actually had a girl in here playing drums, a friend of mine, but so I found Steven on Craigslist.
Yeah, he put out an ad, and I would go on Craigslist every day and search bands that I liked, just to see if any bands were looking for up my alley. And he had Melvins in there, so I was like, oh shit, this guy likes Melvins. I want to try to get in there because I had some bad luck with other bands.
He had been playing with Chiefs. And then he played guitar with another friend of ours.
Oh yeah, that was just kind of for fun. I'm not a guitar player.
Yeah, he's really not. He's a shitty fucking guitar player.
I can play open power chords.
So Steven and I got together, and we had another bass player for a year or two, something like that.
A couple of years.
And we put out the first. Nebula Drag, the self-titled thing, digitally. And with Smiles and Creeps and Monsters. And
Corey already had a lot of those songs written when I joined the band. So he had a full album pretty much ready to rock when I joined. So it was nice.
And then after a year or so, me and Steven, we got rid of the other bass player. It just wasn't working out. He's a nice guy. And then same thing, fucking Craigslist.
Yeah.
And then Garrett, and then we got Garrett. And how long have
That's been like 7 years I've been in the band.
Yeah, time flies.
Yeah. So Garrett's been with the band about 7 years, and the band in its current state, it's pretty great. We like it a lot.
All right. So next thing I wanted to ask is each of you I want to answer from each of you on this question is what was the first musician or album or maybe song you heard that made you want to play? Steven, for you, drums, Corey, for you, guitar, and Garrett, for you, bass. What was the first thing you heard that made you want to play your instrument?
When I first started getting into drums, my one buddy that I was in my first band with, Chiefs, we were into Nine Inch Nails, and he showed me a Nine Inch Nails DVD, and Josh Freese was playing drums. And I had never seen anything. I was like, oh, that guy's a fucking badass. Like, to be able to play those Nine Inch Nail beats, that were electronic at first and turn them into acoustic drums or whatever. It's pretty amazing. But that was like, I want to be like badass like that guy. Yeah, he's one of my ultimate
Yeah, he's awesome, man. He's been in so much stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
For me, it's probably a mixture of the Beatles and Primus. Paul McCartney and Les Claypool. I don't know. I just really liked the Beatles growing up, and then when I first heard Primus, when I could realize that bass players could do more than. I grew up liking a lot of punk, but punk wasn't fun to play. So, it wasn't exciting, interesting at least. So once I realized bass could do more than just the same note over and over again, I kind of got into it that way.
Yeah, Primus is just one of those bands that, especially if you're a bass player, they totally stick out, because Les Claypool's doing like all sorts of crazy things.
Yeah, that band's amazing.
Yeah, and I guess for me, I don't know if there's any one person or anything. I just always wanted to play guitar even since I was a little kid, and a very young kid, like 8 or 9 years old. I just wanted to play guitar.
There's an age difference. Like Garrett and I are the same age.
I'm older than they are.
Yeah.
I'm in my 50s, so they're a bit younger than I am.
So he's been through a couple more,
Yeah, I've been doing
decades enough.
Yeah.
Of music.
Yeah, but I guess some of my bigger inspirations early on after I got a guitar would probably be I don't know, man. I was a big Cheap Trick fan.
Nice.
A lot of Led Zeppelin, a lot of classic rock. By the time I was 16 or 17, I was really into a lot of punk rock and stuff like that. Um, so, also a lot of Sabbath, of course, so I can't really say there's any one inspiration. I just always wanted to play. So yeah, but generally, it's just a lot of
He's mentioned loving Elvis a lot too.
I did. Hey, I was when I was a kid. Hey, man, when Elvis died, I was a very young child. I locked myself in my grandma's car and listened to Elvis until I fucking ran the battery dead on the radio because they were doing, when somebody dies, they'll play it. And the next morning, she went out to her car, it wouldn't fucking start, because I'd listened to Elvis for 4 hours in her car.
Killed the
I
battery.
killed the battery. But yeah, a lot of stuff like that. A lot of classic rock, a lot of punk rock, a lot of early thrash, and stuff like that. And definitely the standards, whether it's Black Sabbath or Hendrix or like a lot of Jimmy Page stuff and Zeppelin. And there you go, man. I'm a big Buckethead fan. I'd seen but when I was 19 or 20, I started seeing the Deli Creeps with Buckethead in San Francisco.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
yeah, so I was a big, I like anything that was kind of a little off the beaten path a bit.
Nice, nice. Anything eclectic, huh?
Yeah. It's just I don't know what the hell I'm doing half the time. So the
No.
guys they kind of corral everything in, so without guidance, I'm just kind of a fucking wreck. It's just so
Now, one thing I wanted to bring up next is what is the writing and even the recording process like for you guys? And one thing I wanted to touch on is a lot of your songs, they kind of like start off a little, it seems like it's going to be a mellow song and then it kicks in. For example, on the self-titled So Low, I really love that
oh yeah,
song. It starts off
yeah,
really slow and then all of a sudden, boom,
kicks
that
in.
riff just kicks in. So what's the writing process like for you? Do you come in with a riff, Corey, and then you guys just kind of join in?
Yeah,
Corey's got on his phone, he has every riff he's
I've got
come
hundreds.
up with. He's busted out when we find a good one or something.
I'm prolifically cranking out little bits and trying to remember them. So I'll have lots of pieces. Sometimes we stumble across stuff in the studio here, but a lot of times, like I'll have a part or a couple parts. Sometimes with lyrics, sometimes without. Usually a lot of times without, or else it'll just be a skeleton, a few words here or there. And then so yeah, so a lot of mellow stuff and moody stuff in the beginning we like. So yeah, I'm not surprised you noticed that, but yeah, I'll come up with stuff and then we show it to the guys and
Usually changes quite a bit from like what it first
it
comes
can't
out on its
change.
phone. Once the bass and drums come in, it kind of will change a lot of the.
And we're pretty slow at songwriting these days. Some songs write pretty quick, but we're working on a couple songs now, 2 or 3 songs, whatever. But lately it's been a little slow. We've been a little more methodical, a little more picky. But yeah, I come up with parts. I do the lyrics, and then the guys will come up with little changes here or there as well, and say, oh, let's do this part twice, or Garrett will have some little part he wants to throw in there, a big part. So yeah, so that's kind of how it starts. It'll start here, kind of in the middle, I guess, and it'll bloom out.
And then Corey will say, "Oh, that's too pretty. We gotta fuck it up more or something."
Yeah, a lot of times, yeah, we don't want anything to sound too much like anything else. So yeah, so we like to fuck it up a little bit and kind of throw curveballs in there. We
Just some
don't,
changes.
yeah, we don't want to be
Weird
too,
changes.
yeah, we don't want to be too predictable. But we also don't want to be uncomfortable or ugly, this kind of nastiness. So, so that's where it starts. A lot of mellow stuff in the beginning. That's kind of our thing. We like a lot of that stuff, and then the heavy shit, comes in.
Well,
The
it's
yin and
cool
the
because
yang.
digging into the catalogs, coming up interviewing you guys, I've noticed there's definitely an evolution from the first album to the last album, but you still maintain that kind of Nebula drag sound, so it's really great, especially as a
Cool.
listener.
Wow, that's great to hear. Yeah, and I'll tell you real quick, with this, we're obviously starting stuff for a new album, we're writing. And we don't know which direction it'll go. Will it be kind of a more slick kind of album? Will it, do we want to make it sound like a big kind of you know, I don't want to say Mastodon production or big slick production, or do we want to keep it that kind of lo-fi, kind of gritty, big guitars, big drums? You know, we just don't know. You know,
Yep.
so it'll be interesting for us as well to see, hey man, what's this next album going to sound like, and who are we going to record it with? We've worked with Jordan Andreen for our first album. He does a lot of stuff for Earthless and Sacramonte and a lot of bands like that.
Killer engineer.
Yeah, he's a great
Yeah.
engineer. And
Knows all that old equipment
yeah,
like the back of his hand. He's a little.
he's a big 2-inch tape guy, so he likes tape. And then we also did some, you know, the Blood we did with Jeff with Jeff Forrest. And Jeff Forrest recorded the first like Blink 182 albums.
Oh, wow.
And a bunch of stuff like that. But he had been in the same room for like 30 years, the same box of a room. But he had worked with dozens or hundreds of bands over the years. A lot of metal bands, a lot of punk rock bands, a lot of kind of almost top 40 stuff. So he did Blood for us. You know, he tracked Blood for us and he helped us mix it. And to me, that's a little bit of a slicker album than
the previous one.
Yeah, than the previous one, or even Western Death. Western Death, this white album we did at a bigger studio here in town called Rarefied, and they've got a lot of great gear. It's a great room. We all got COVID during that. We all got really sick.
Yeah, I was
And
like
it was like a fever dream recording that album. And that we had a pretty good engineer working on that for us, and he's a younger guy, you know, but generally
Ethan,
yeah. We just, you know, need somebody to get to capture what we can get, you know, and then we're pretty good at mixing it ourselves or being there with them to mix it.
Cool. Now, I'm glad you brought up Blood, because that's kind of, I was telling you guys earlier, that's how I found out about you guys. Is Blood was put out by Desert Records, one of my favorite labels. Now, how did you guys link up with them and with Brad and Desert Records?
We played a show with them down here. Like, it was just one that they were on tour.
It was
did an opener.
It was a weeknight, because it was a weeknight. We for a long time we were doing a lot of weeknights with touring bands. We love to play. We love to meet people from out of town. So we met a lot of bands. I mean, for years.
Just would hit us up and want to play a local show in San Diego
on a Thursday night or a Tuesday night, and
help them out a lot.
Yeah,
a
so
lot of touring bands.
Yeah, and some of those shows, they were rough, man. They were kind of fucking shitty, but the people were amazing, and we really got to hang out and bond with them. We did a show with Red Mesa and met Roman and all those guys and Brad.
Yeah.
And you know, I loaned him one of my amps that night, and probably a month or two or a few months after that.
Brad really liked us after that show, and maybe we liked the Red Mesa and stuff too.
Yeah, and Brad, and we'd had, you know, I had a few other people. The guy from Broom, his label, had asked us about, you know, what they, you know, he doesn't do it anymore. But Brad got a hold of us and said, "Hey, man, I'd like to put out an album with you guys. Would you be into that?" And we said, "Fuck yeah, you know, let's do it." You know, and we've been, you know, good pals ever since. And Brad, for us, I'm not a great businessman. I'm not great at you know, publicity or any of that, really. You know, social media is a fucking drag for me. But Brad with Desert Bloom and all that stuff, Brad does a lot of hand holding for me. I can ask him a lot of questions. There's enough bands on Desert now to where we can connect with them throughout the country and stuff like that.
Yep.
So Brad's just he's been great for us. You know, he works hard, and he's in Washington now. He's no longer in New Mexico. He has moved to Washington. So that's how we connected with Brad. We played with him on a weeknight. We became pals, and he hit us up and asked if he could help us put out an album. And we said, hell yeah. And we had to rush to put out Blood. He really wanted a tight time frame. You know, we had a lot of material, but probably not a full album's worth. And he was like, I want this by then. Sometimes that's the motivation we need.
Yeah, we kind of finished a couple of those songs right before
the day before.
Yeah,
the day before.
Like, how are we going to end this? Or where is the final change going to happen?
Yeah.
It worked out well.
Yeah, no, we like it. Yeah, I haven't listened to Blood for a while, you know. I haven't listened to it for a while. We play a handful of songs live off of pretty much all of our albums. The first album, Blood and Western Death. we like to play something off of everything.
Nice. Well, I'm glad you mentioned that as well, because that brings up my next question is what's it like as Nebula Drag playing live, and what's the local scene like there in San Diego and around that area?
Be nice.
Be nice.
The local scene the scene is good. It's hard to get people out.
It's saturated. It's a big city, and
It's
there's lots of clubs.
There's a lot of things to do. Not everyone is always going to go to a dive bar on a Friday night when there's probably Tool playing in LA or
Yeah,
you
well,
know,
there's a lot of
Daughters
big
playing
shows.
down the street, you know. So I mean, as far as getting people out, it's not always the easiest. But it is
sometimes
a good
happens. Sometimes it happens.
yeah, sometimes
yeah,
it happens.
shows,
It is
yeah.
a good group of people though.
Yeah, we got a lot of good people here, and
A lot of good bands in San Diego.
a lot of good
yeah.
bands in San Diego, and San Diego is huge. It pretty much goes from the border of Mexico almost to about, how long does it take to get to Oceanside? 30, 40 minutes.
Yeah, 45 minutes.
So it can take you 40 minutes at 50 miles an hour to get from one end to the other. And
So it is
there's
big,
lots of
yeah.
bands, a good handful of clubs. Some nights are amazing. Some nights you wish more people were there, like everything else. But overall, we've got a good bunch of people here, and we've played with a lot of the local bands. We played a lot with a lot of them, as well as
On good terms with a couple of the clubs too, so we get to open for some cool bands that come through at some of these spots, you know, like
got the Truck Fighters saying
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
playing with Truck Fighters in a couple weeks. We opened for Yob.
Nice.
at the
a
same,
couple times, at the same venue. We did
So,
Church of Misery.
Brick by Brick out here. It's a really cool venue. If you're ever in San Diego, check out a show at Brick by Brick for
Awesome.
big metal club. Yeah.
Yeah,
And Tower Bar. Those are our homies.
yeah. And Tower Bar is your typical hole in the wall, and we can
Been there since the 1920s. It's just a bar and a little stage, but they throw the coolest shows.
It's right in your face. So those are some of our best shows at Tower Bar and Brick by Brick. So yeah, pretty fortunate. But yeah, the scene here, it can be a little tough. You got a lot of kind of reggae bands. You've got a lot of kind of kiddie punk rock stuff. You get a bit of doom kind of stuff. So it's pretty broad out here. It is pretty broad out here. Musically.
Nice. All right. So next is like I said, my on the spot segment, where I'm going to put you guys on the spot and ask you some tough questions here.
All right.
So this one, this might be a little controversial. Some people might not want to admit this question or the answer to this. What's your favorite hair band or hair band album?
Oh God.
Hairband album. Well, hey man, I'll tell you this. I wasn't really a hairband guy. I like some of it, but if it depends. I don't know if we could say Ozzy Oz, I don't know if we could say Bark at the Moon or Blizzard of Oz or any of those.
Yeah,
or
Scorpions
hair metal.
considered hair metal. I'm not even sure.
Are Scorpions?
Well, I don't know.
Oh,
I
they're
think it
cooler than
depends on
hair
what
band,
you
right?
But I would say this, for me, about sometime around 1999 or 2000, a friend of mine gave me Shout at the Devil. I was aware of them. I was aware of Motley Crue. I wasn't a big fan. I was once again into Buckethead, and by then I'd seen Soundgarden do Ultra Mega OK, and I was into a lot of stuff. But a friend of mine gave me Shout at the Devil. I've still got it in there. That fucking record rips, dude. So I would say Shout at the Devil is killer. I love that album. But when I was younger, it wasn't really my thing, but 20 years or so after it came out, I'm like, wow, this is a killer album. What's yours?
I'm not sure. I'm also not a big hair metal guy.
we were both, me and Steven were both
We're
4
born in
years,
86.
4 years old when the 80s ended. So,
Yeah.
But I will say, for lack of a better, term, I did get into some cheesy music at some point, and Cherry Pie by Warrant. It's a fun song.
There you go. Okay, that is acceptable.
You watch enough VH1 awesomely bad whatever compilations.
Yeah.
And it's fun when you're 13 and you see a piece of pie fall in a girl's crotch.
I was watching an interview with him, and I guess they didn't even want the album to be called that. And they even have the song written. They're like, hey, you guys got to come up with a single. So he's like, I'll write some bullshit song. He's like, next thing I know, he's like, the album's Cherry Pie, the lead video's Cherry Pie. He's like, I'm judging Cherry Pie contests.
That's hilarious. I didn't know that.
And I saw an interview with the singer guy. Did he pass away?
Yeah,
one-
he died of a drug overdose. It was pretty actually kind of tragic, you know.
Yeah, I think it was an interview with him when he walked into the label's office, where their label was at. And instead of a picture of Warrant on the wall, they saw a picture of Alice in Chains. And
Ah.
right then he said, I knew it was over. Pretty big deal. So
I
yeah.
remember that too, because I was now my favorite one. I'll probably have to go with either Quiet Riot, Metal Health, or probably Motley Crue. What's the one from '89?
I
It was
did have
really
that
famous.
cassette, the Quiet Riot. I did have that
Yeah.
cassette when I was, 14, 15 years old. I did have that cassette and I did listen to it quite a bit, yeah, it was a cool album, and my brother at the same time when I was listening to that, he bought Everything Went Black by Black Flag and Circle
Nice.
Jerks Wild in the Streets. So that was probably my big era of change was right there, is that mental health or whatever. My brother buying that stuff, and that's kind of probably when I started getting into different stuff.
Nice. All right. So we got that. The embarrassing, I guess, question out of the out of the way. The next one, what is your favorite cookie?
Oh shit.
Oh my God.
I like an iced oatmeal cookie, man. I love
Ooh.
that shit.
That's good.
I'll eat a whole pack of iced oatmeal cookies.
Like the
Yeah, fucking hard.
packaged ones?
Yeah, they
okay.
chew up your gums and shit. They're super hard and they got that
Oh, the hard ones. I think about
Yes,
just
yeah.
oatmeal
Like the
pies. I
Mother's.
was thinking oatmeal pies.
I think it's Mother's, right? Mother's
Yeah.
or something
Oh,
like
those
that.
ones,
The
yeah.
iced oatmeal cookies. I love that shit. Or freshly baked chocolate chip cookie out of the oven.
Yeah, that's good. Can't go wrong there.
I've been on those Tate's chocolate chip cookies that from the I just get them at the
Tate's.
grocery store. Tate, yeah, the
I've
brand.
seen
Tate.
those. I haven't tried them yet.
They're okay. I mean, they're good for
You
a
get
gift store.
you get like 10 cookies for like $35.
No, it's not. They're really
Gary, what
crispy
about you?
ones, though. Just chocolate chip. Yeah.
I mean, when you're high, every cookie is the best cookie. But I would have to say, as far as I mean, everyone likes a chocolate chip, or I really like oatmeal, but like a unique one would probably be a taffy cookie, like a Mother's taffy, where it's that brown like ridged cookie with like a icing in the middle.
I don't think I've ever had
Yeah.
that.
I think you have. No one knows. They're not. They don't taste like taffy, but they're called taffy cookies. They're in
Okay.
those packages. I bet you've had one and just like never known that they were called taffy cookies.
I'm gonna have to look that up, and I'll probably recognize it. I've had so many different cookies. So
Fact
now
check
mine
that.
is one my mom used to make, and it's an oatmeal cookie with butterscotch chips in it. She calls them
Oh,
oatmeal
that
That
scotch.
sounds so good. I love oatmeal cookies too.
And
Oh,
I
Yeah.
love, gosh, I love all that shit, man.
nothing better than homemade cookies, to be honest. Yeah,
Yeah,
especially when mom's making them.
Tell your
That's-
mom to send some
yeah.
of those our way. I'm only kidding.
she probably will actually.
What's his address?
All right, next one I got. What is the best party song to put on?
Can I say cherry pie again?
Yes, you can. That is acceptable.
I don't know.
In the Club by 50 Cent.
I wouldn't even know that. I got nothing for a party song, a club party song.
Six Pack by Black Flag.
Six Pack by Black Flag.
There
Sure,
you
why
go.
not? Six Pack. Yeah.
Party Hard by what's his name?
There you go.
Yeah.
I would say maybe The Art of Partying by what's the band? Municipal Waste.
Oh yeah.
There-
Oh yeah. I love Municipal.
We'll rip this
Waste.
place
the one
apart.
rock guy who
We'll
does the
turn your
partying
fucking
too,
foreign party into art.
White shirt with long hair.
That's the Party Hard. The
Yeah, Andrew WK.
Andrew WK.
yeah.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
gotcha. Okay.
I would have to say maybe anything by AC/DC. That usually
Oh, there
gets
you
the
go,
party
yeah.
going.
AC/DC,
Gets everyone drinking.
Anytime an AC/DC song comes on, everybody's like doing some of that. Awesome.
All right, next one, and you can probably tell I like food a lot. As my next question, what is your go-to late night snack?
Cereal.
Yeah,
Cereal. Any kind of cereal. Doesn't even have to have milk. Honeycombs, anything like that. I'll be digging my hand in the whole fucking box. I'll be making a bowl of cereal at 2 a.m. Or after shows, not a lot of times, but a fair amount of time. At 2 a.m. or whatever, we'll hit up Yum Yum Donuts.
Oh, if Corey thinks we played good, he'll buy
Yeah, he'll buy
us
donuts.
donuts. If we didn't fuck up too much, he buys us a
If
couple
we have a good
donuts.
show, we go by the donut shop at 2 in the morning, and Steven will get a donut with cereal on top of with fruity
Fruit
pebbles
Pebbles and
on top
chocolate
of
or
it.
some shit.
And
Yeah.
Garrett will probably grab a
I
cup.
like an old fashioned.
Don't we all?
Yeah. I mean,
Old-fashioned, wow.
Oh,
Mine
I
at
usually
home
like
is
to
is
dunk
just
that in the
yogurt and maple
coffee.
syrup.
He likes yogurt and maple syrup.
But that's usually all I have in the fridge, you know.
Steven's probably the healthiest one
yeah,
out
he's
of
in
us all.
shape.
Ah,
He's the
Yeah.
healthiest one out of us all. Not mentally, just physically.
Yeah, I can't keep cereal around the house because I'll eat the whole box in one sitting after having a couple gummies, you know.
yeah, that's how I am, you know. I usually my routine is I'm down here in my bar area downstairs, and I usually come down at night, do some bong rips, and then go upstairs and like you, I usually get some
Tack.
cereal, Rice Krispies, or I try to keep
Whatever
it a
you
little
get.
healthier.
Awesome. I love it.
All right. So next, we're gonna move on to what do you guys got upcoming? What is upcoming for Nebula Drag?
Well,
The Truck Fighters show we got coming up. They're
Yeah.
coming out from Sweden. They're doing a tour out in the States.
and so we'll be
Nice.
playing with them and the Well, and we played with the Well before at a little club here in town, probably on a weeknight.
And another killer band, I'm blanking on their name.
Spirit. But they're on Blues Funeral.
They're killer too.
Yeah, they're killer. They're on Blues
A little
Funeral.
bit doomier than Truck Fighter. Like
Yeah,
I think it's an instrumental. It's really good though.
they're cool. And that's our next show. That's the 25th at Brick by Brick. So that'll be a big show for us.
We're opening it up for
We
them.
will open that up. And then after that, we got a show, probably 3 or 4 weeks after that.
And mid-May.
Show wise, we got a show with our friends in the Freaks, which is Ruben Romano, who used to play with
Yes, yeah, I've heard of them. Yeah.
yeah, so he's played with Fu Manchu and with Nebula and some of those bands. And then who else is
Elder
playing?
Balloon.
Oh, and Elder
Elder
Blue from not Ohio, where
Idaho.
Idaho. They're from
Yeah.
Idaho, and we played with Elder a few times. Elder Blue. We played with them a few times, and I think they've stayed here at my house on 1 or 2 of those nights. So that'll be a good show.
And Desert Sons is playing that show too. They're another local band here that's super killer. They've been around since we've been doing it too.
Yeah. So
They've had a few member
Check them
changes,
out.
but they're really cool.
yeah. So that's what we got coming up show wise. And then after that, we want to focus on doing some writing and get on that, because we haven't really did a deep writing session since Western Death. We got, because we all got COVID and all of that business, I kind of burned out a little bit. I hit a little bit of a wall.
We had been doing it already then for 8 years.
Yeah,
8
yeah.
years of playing local shows and
Yeah, so lately, we're not doing as many local shows. I've reached out to a few booking agencies to help us set up some touring, some stuff like that, because I'm not really good at it. I'm just a guitar player and a singer. That's all I want to do anymore. I've tried it, I did it. We still help a lot of other bands. We get messages from other bands coming through town. If we can't play with them, then we hook them up with somebody that can. So I think we're anxious to see what we can come up with now after all these years, not all these years, but close to 10 years or so. See what this next, the stuff we're doing now, these few new parts that we've got,
they're really cool.
they're really fucking cool.
Yeah.
They're really cool. It's a good evolution for us to see where
We're
it's
spending
going.
more time on it. Like we're gonna kind of letting it evolve more and let it breathe more before we rush in. We used to kind of rush into the studio when we had, and it's like we could have let it, not that it didn't work out, but
Yeah,
we could have spent more time, but it didn't, that wasn't the case at the time. We needed to get it done.
yeah.
Now, before I wrap this up, where can anybody find Nebula Drag's music and maybe merch if they want to get it? Say they want to get a record, t-shirt, where do they find it at?
nebuladrag.bandcamp.com, nebuladrag.bandcamp.com. We prefer there. We are on Spotify hesitantly, like a lot of bands. I'm not sure why we're on fucking Spotify.
We want it to be easy to find
We
us too.
want us to be easy to find us, but there's also,
And everyone has Spotify, so
but
they don't pay you anything.
they don't pay anything, but there's also a part of it that I feel like you're just giving shit away and it loses its value on Spotify. It loses some significance a little bit. We prefer Bandcamp. we have the most listeners there for us, that's where we have most of our listeners and followers. So that's where we sell, unless it's a live show, that's where we sell most everything. Most
I'm
everything.
glad you
It's all
mentioned
merch and stuff is
Bandcamp
through.
What's that?
and Spotify, because like I've never had a Spotify account and I refuse
You're-
to have one
And
because
and
they
I
don't pay the artist jack shit.
see,
Yeah.
come
and
from
that's the way I feel. That's the
Yeah,
way
I
I
come
feel.
from like a old school feeling of like if someone creates a piece of art and you're going to consume it, you should compensate them for it,
Yeah. Well,
Buy a t-shirt, do whatever you can, repost about it, do an interview,
yeah, and we're thankful for you and people like you. It's kind of what it's all about. We get to meet cool people all across the country and the world a lot of times. And
Yeah.
and it's not through fucking Spotify, it's almost always thugh Bandcamp.
Yeah.
Or live shows, so once again,
Bandcamp, you find the more hardcore kind of listener, that's going out of the way to find underground bands. And
it's
Spotify, you're not going to really do that unless you actually know who we are. And
it's
and
great.
typing it in.
It's great to know that people like you are still out there digging deep and looking for something a little different, maybe. So we're thankful for you and all of
Well,
that.
thank you.
I appreciate it.
And that's what's great about this whole underground, stoner rock, stoner doom scene, whatever you want to call it, underground music, is that I've met people from all over the world and been able to interview people and then, meet them later on when they come up and tour and just, everyone's just so supportive and, nobody's getting rich off this shit.
Yeah,
it's definitely a passion.
For
it's
sure.
Definitely, it's something that keeps for me and probably the guys, I don't want to speak too much for them, but it keeps me up. It's what I think of. It's what I enjoy doing most. We have our day jobs. They fucking suck, but we do that and then we come here and we work hard and
it's a release
it's a good release and
you need everything. Everyone kind of needs that release artistically or some way or other, whatever, if you're doing whatever you're doing.
For sure.
Crossing puzzles or whatever you want to get into.
Cookies, cereal, all of that.
Yeah. And then like us listeners, our jobs suck sometimes too. And just to be able to consume the music and forget about shit for a while, it definitely helps, make life a little bit easier. Cause, especially lately, life's been a little crazy for most people,
It has.
Yeah.
And tell me this, is there not like a lot of really good unnoticed music these days?
Oh,
Isn't
so
there
much
just a
stuff.
flood of it, of talented, really killer stuff, and they're producing all their own music, they're writing it all, they're paying for it all, they're booking all their own tours.
I interviewed a guy last week, this guy Jake, from the band Burn Ritual out of San Antonio, and he plays all the instruments, records it all, does all the art, does all the layout, like he does everything on his own. And I was like, oh, well, did you do it because he's like, no, I did it because out of necessity. I just taught myself how to do it because, I don't want to pay someone to do it.
Yeah.
That's actually, I'm a graphic designer. That's how I got into graphic design. For the first bands I was in, I was sick of seeing shitty posters all everywhere. So I was like, I'm going to learn how to make posters because I was sick of no one's going to want to go to the show with this gritty poster.
And he did the cover art for Blood.
Yeah, and he
does a couple of our t-shirts
nice.
and everything too.
Yeah, I did that. Yeah, I did the black one.
And then our tattoo artist friend did the Western Death one, and then
she drew that just
Steven
pencil.
formatted it.
I do all the layout on the albums though, for all the text and all the everything else besides the artwork.
Yeah, but the Western Death album, that's all pencil.
Yeah, it was just a graphite drawing by Jordan Lentz. She's a good tattoo artist out of San Diego.
Yeah, amazing tattoo artist.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, guys, thank you for coming on. I really appreciate it. Is there anything else you want to say to everyone before we wrap it up?
No, just thanks everybody.
We love you.
Yeah, we love you guys.
Keep rocking in the free roll.
Yeah. Go have some fucking cherry pie, dude.
I was about to bring it back around cherry pie too.
But nah, man, we appreciate it. And hopefully in the next year or so, maybe we'll be able to come up and give you a big old hug and bring you some cereal or some donuts.
Awesome.
Burritos. We'll bring some burritos.
Oh yeah, we'll bring some burritos.
There's a couple great clubs out here, and I know a few guys who do booking out here. So let me know if you're ever going to come out this way.
We will.
For sure.
All right, man. Well, that wraps it up for Ossont Battery. Everyone, have a good night and stay metal.
Yeah. Thanks, Aaron.
Thanks, Aaron. Take care, buddy.
Take care, guys.
Okay. Cool.
Hey metalheads, you like tattoos? Of course you do. If you're in the Louisville, Kentucky area, come on over the bridge to Clarksville, Indiana, and get you some ink done at Ageless Art. If ink isn't your thing, they have a piercing studio as well. Visit agelessartclarksville.com to see some frequently asked questions, meet the staff. The shop is open Monday through Thursday, 12 to 8 p.m., Saturdays, 12 to 10 p.m., and Sundays, 12 to 6 p.m., all appointment-only spots. You can set up your appointments by phone at 812-283-1793 or email agelessarttattooandpiercing@gmail.com and someone will get you set up for your first or your next tattoo or piercing.
Hey metalheads, after going to a rager, what's your ultimate go-to? Mine is totally pizza. So when Overload is playing, or I'm promoting the Metal Forge live showcases, or the big goddamn metal show, I go to Pizza DoNisi. Pizza DoNisi is gourmet artisan pizza from right here in Louisville, Kentucky. It features things like the pizza of the month, the sandwiches, and also vegetarian and vegan options, which is so totally fucking cool for all of it's awesome pizza. You definitely want to go. Hey, and also from time to time they do cannolis. Oh, so fucking good. You know what they said, man? Leave the gun, take the cannoli. Yeah, just like that in Godfather. They're located right next to the Mag Bar at 1396 South 2nd Street. So either stop in or call in at 502-213-0488. They're open till midnight. The witching hour.
Heineken? Fuck that shit! Pabst Blue Ribbon!
Hey metalheads, you all hear me talk about Mag Bar all the time. It is the home to the Metal Forge live showcases and is an integral stop in the Ultimate Underground Metal Tour schedule. They obviously feature live music, but the Mag Bar also has daily specials like Pint and Slice Night on Tuesdays with Pizza DoNisi. But they also do Bring Your Own Vinyl on Thursdays with DJ Kent Jackson, and Finer Things Sundays. Located right next to Pizza DoNisi at 1398 South 2nd Street, open 3 p.m. to 4 a.m. 7 days a week. Get your asses out to the Mag Bar. Rock out. For 45 years in keeping Louisville weird, Electric Ladyland has been there for all your eccentricities. While they do offer the best smoking supplies out on the market today, there's a whole lot more to check out. From ashtrays and blacklight posters, to records, incense and burners, and items to stock your metaphysical supply. They're open from 10 to 10, 7 days a week. Located at 2325 Bardstown Road in Louisville, Kentucky, and at electricladyland420.com. Roll out.